What's up, Muscle and Strength? This is Santi Aragon from Team Muscle Tech, bringing to you my shoulder workout. So pretty much what I did today was very basic, but very effective. What I did is I started out with the front part of the shoulders, and I worked my way all around from the side to the rear part of the delt. The first exercise that I started with was a basic press. Now what I did is I did a seated press with the dumbbells, and then what I did is I drop setted and moved on to another seated dumbbell press, but I changed up the tempo of the reps. What I did is I exploded on one and I came back down on a 1, 2, 3. Exploded on one, came back down with a 1, 2, 3. For the shoulder presses, I did 3 sets, okay? I like to start at least my first set with 15 reps. Obviously, if you're gonna go set 2, set 3, and even if you decide to go with set 4, what's gonna happen is if you're using the same weight, you're going to fail a lot quicker. You might not get to 15 reps. So what I did is I did 15. I only got to about 12 to 13 on my second set. Third set, I made it to about 10 to 11. And then I moved into the drop set. So we moved on to the second exercise, and we still kept the focus on the front part of the delt. What I did is I took the bench and I put it into an incline. I think it was about 45 degrees. Put up 45 degrees, chest is facing the pad, and what we did is we took the straight barbell and we did front raises. As opposed to a standing front raise, this is gonna take the momentum out of the whole movement. When you're standing and the weight gets heavy and you're trying to pick something up in front of you, you're gonna tend to swing your body. We're trying to eliminate that on this movement. I held it at the top of the movement for about, I would say, a half a second to a second. And this is really gonna help me engage the front part of the delt instead of just me swinging the barbell rapidly. I kept it at about 15 reps. The weight was a little bit lower, but again, the movements were slow, the movements were very concentrated, and I held it at the top of the movement for about that half a second to a second. So after we did the front raises, I decided to move into lateral raises. And in the dumbbell section of this gym, I took an initiative to actually try these style dumbbells for the first time. And they actually worked pretty well. They took a lot of stress out of my wrist. I did notice that. So what I did is I did 2 styles of lateral raises for this exercise. I did a standing and I also did a seated lateral. The first part of the movement was the standing portion. Again, I held it at the top for about a second. I did those for about 15 reps. I moved into the seated portion of the movement. I kept my back part on top of the pad, but the lower part of my body was off of the pad. This is gonna allow me to bring the dumbbells as close to my body as possible without my legs getting in the way. It's gonna help me stretch the lateral portion of the delt. Instead of doing a full rep range on these, all the way up, all the way down, is I did a partial. Now these partials, you could change them up. You could do them at the top of the movement, the middle, the bottom. I decided to do them at the bottom of the movement. So it went straight from the bottom of my body all the way to about, I would say, another 30 degrees. And I went from there all the way down, back up, all the way down, back up. I did these, compiled the standing and the seated, 3 sets for about 15 reps each. There's a couple different variations of exercise that I do for rear delts, and that's what I like to finish off my shoulder routine with, is rear delts. Sometimes I use a machine, sometimes I use dumbbells. I decided to use those orb style dumbbells once again. All I did was I propped up the incline bench all the way up. I sat at the very edge of the bench and I leaned my body forward and I just came up on a side lateral movement. But again, I try to keep the focus on the rear portion of the delt. Squeezing it, again, half a second to 1 second at the top and letting it come down. I think that the most important part of this movement is going to be, again, to think and to feel like you have a string attached to your elbows. This is really helpful on any type of shoulder exercise because you're gonna actually eliminate your biceps, your forearms, any type of momentum that's coming from your body, it's gonna eliminate it. All right, that wraps up my shoulder workout. I'd like to thank everybody at Muscle and Strength and all the viewers for taking a look at the inside of what my shoulder workouts look like. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you have any love, leave it below. If you don't like what you see, leave a comment below. I'll see you guys next year, pro debut.